Well, hello everyone. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And I'm James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James.
And tonight I have a blockbuster show for you. Now, why am I saying it's blockbuster? Well, because I think it is, but also because everybody, when they get on their YouTube videos, they say major breaking developments, shocking. So, what am I going to say? This is, you know what I mean? How can I compete with all those people? So anyway,
You could just say, here's a dose of reality.
oh yeah, here's my major blockbuster dose of reality. Well, this is embarrassing even for me. So I'm not completely happy with my own topic. But anyway, here it is. What I'm asking is, and I'll put this back on, how America's hero worship has been destroying us. And I really, really mean this. So there is a lot to this. And in our show description, I talk about the fact that uh, people are, I don't know why I'm completely blocked. Okay. We're wondering why people are sticking with the administration, despite the fact that it is lied and it seems incompetent, and there's all of that. So I wanted to look a little bit deeper into that question, and this is what I came up with. And I realized that this has got major implications for all of us. And I started thinking about heroes. Like, if you're a little boy, do you want to be, if it's your generation, Superman? Or I understand in recent decades, it's more like Batman. Uh, and so you want to imagine yourself as being able to do all those things. And that seems just so benign and innocent, doesn't it? But it isn't benign and innocent, and it has really devastating consequences. And I'm going to like really play this out for you. Now, for a girl, maybe now girls want to be Wonder Woman. I know that when I was a kid, girls wanted to be mommies, or they wanted to be, Marilyn Monroe or something like that. But a lot of girls want to be seen as powerful. I frankly wanted to be Eleanor Roosevelt. That tells you how old I am. But anyway, now what are these hero what who these are all heroes. And what happens when a hero, you're supposed to be a hero, you compare yourself to heroes. What do you think of yourself? Are you a hero? Are you able to save the country, the world, your family?
You fall way short.
Way short. And so, one of the terrible things about our hero worshiping is that so many of us feel pretty inadequate. And then we do everything we can in order to try to prove that we really are heroes. And what does a hero do? A hero saves people or saves animals or saves the planet, or if you're out there in some kind of intergalactic world, you save the universe. And that gives you a lot of esteem. So most of us really felt, or I would say many of us really felt as children, that our parents needed saving, that our families needed saving. And we were all looking for either for ourselves to be the heroes, or we're looking for someone else to be the hero. So let's say the little boy, and this may not seem significant to you. You may say, well, of course, but wait till you see the implication of this and the result of it. Is that, little boys are going up and playing war in their rooms, aren't they, James? Or at least they
Oh,
were.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, now it's video games where you're
Oh, yeah.
fighting and killing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And the hero is the one who kills the most people.
Right.
Isn't that fabulous? Now, of course, the Superman kind of hero is also standing up for justice. And I don't know about video games. Maybe you're standing up for justice too. And that could lead people, a certain person in particular, to be thinking in his own world, in his own delusional world, that he is playing a game and he's moving all these pieces around and bombing all kinds of people, and he wins, right? Because he's the hero. You're beginning to catch my drift. But I want to talk about this from a more personal perspective before I speak more about how this has impacted us nationally and internationally. When we have failed to live up to the heroic image, we often will try to be associated with the hero. So, a certain person I know used to play with baseball cards, and or looking at team sports, like, oh yeah, like we want our young people to go out there and kill the opposition, right? Go play football, get them, get them, get them, as though there are no broken bones, there's no concussions, this is nothing, because you get to be a hero. And then if you're following these sports or these games, then you get to be a hero by association. You get a little bit of that. Yes, I'm associated
Your
with the
team
hero.
wins, you're a winner.
You are. And so if you are a member of a certain party now and you have a very powerful character who is, head of the administration, and you're associated with him, whoa, you get to be a hero too. You get to be like powerful and all of that stuff. So the first thing that we've noticed is that we don't live up to, most of us don't live up to the hero. I don't think anybody does. And that we also start wanting to associate with people who look more powerful than they really are, because nobody doesn't shit in their pants. You know, that hero of the football game could be beating his wife, couldn't he? Or be hurting his children, beating his son. Is that what you would call a hero? No, but you're not asking that question, or in general. I'm speaking in general. People don't ask the question, well, how is he treating his children? How is he treating his wife? He's a hero. You want him to stay the hero. Why? Because you want to be safe. And the bottom line of all of this is safety. I want to be safe because I've got some powerful person, force, army, something that's on my side as going to keep me safe. Do I want to look below the surface to see whether or not that person is who I think they are? Absolutely not. Once I have given my fealty, my devotion to somebody, I don't want to find out that that somebody is just a paper tiger or is a foolish old man. No, I want to keep believing, because, there's no other way to explain why so many MAGA people still support the person in charge. Because so much of what he does is against what their ideology is, what they say they are about. America first, right? While we're bombing people overseas and spending billions of dollars, and taking that billions of dollars out of our pockets, take away our health care, take away
Our food.
our food, now take away our ability to drive. But I don't want to think about that because I have already designated him as my hero. And I'm not saying that everybody feels that way about him. I don't. But there are people who do, who worshiped him and maybe still do. I saw a very interesting video the other day where some people in, do I remember, either in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, were being interviewed about prices at the pump, the gas prices. And how do you feel about this? And how do you feel about the war in Iran? And it was amazing that more of them, this is a very MAGA area, were saying, well, I don't mind paying a little bit more to keep us safe from the Iranians. When there is, in fact, Tulsi Gabbard, who is our director of national security, or no,
Intelligence.
intelligence, actually testified today before Congress that the intelligence community said that their ability to, what is the word for that? To get the uranium ready for, let's say,
Enrich
weapons,
the uranium
enrich it,
for
had
atomic.
been destroyed, and that there was no credible threat, none. That's what the intelligence community believed. And so the Congress people said, are you saying, Secretary Gabbard, that there was no imminent threat from Iran? She said, well, I can't say that. Only the president can say that. I mean, what's the most absurd comment, because it's her job to say that, whether or not there is a credible threat for invasion. I think a lot of people don't want to hear what I'm saying because I'm having trouble staying on my topic. I'm forgetting words. This always happens when people don't like what I'm saying. I don't even like what I'm saying. And I want to tell you something personal to me that I realized today that I don't like to admit myself, is that during the Cuban Revolution, the Castro Revolution, Che Guevara and Fidel Castro were my heroes. And I can certainly understand why I felt that way. There was a very corrupt government in Cuba that was hand in hand with the US mafia and the US government. And it was terrible, and they oppressed people and all of that. And so I was really excited when the Cuban Revolution happened. And there was some wonderful things that came out of it: childcare and education and medical and all of that. There was help for the people. But I didn't want to see the oppression of homosexuals, for example. I didn't want to see people being shut up. And I understood the rationalization. Well, we're a new, yeah, well, it's been a long time. It's kind of a new, and I didn't want to see it. So I'm telling you the truth that I've never admitted before, that I hung on, although in my gut, I didn't feel the same way. But I was so desperate for somebody to be good, for somebody to be righteous, for somebody to be really fighting for us. And I can, if I admit that, I can have some compassion or understanding for people who do the same thing for the president. Ignore everything that they theoretically believe in. So we know that America First went down the drain. The Epstein files went down the drain. Drain the swamp. My God, this government is so corrupt. All you have to do is follow the money, and you know where it leads, straight to the White House. And these are things that are important to these people, and there is more. But they don't want to see it. They don't. Because we need a hero. We need someone to save us.
I'd like to add, too, that because it is so delusional, it is destroying our nation in many ways.
Oh,
Because we're being led over
absolutely.
the cliff by somebody who doesn't know what he's doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't they admit that he doesn't know what he's doing, that the tariffs are a bust, that the
And
invasion,
they're a big burden on everyday people.
that's right. And these big, beautiful bill is a bust, and taking away people's health care and food is a bust. Now, I am sure that there are some people who deep down inside know it's a bust, but won't say so. And then there are others who are actually saying so. But there's a lot who don't want to admit it, because then who have they got left to save them? Who have we got left to save us? Do you want to say something before I move on, James, to
Yeah,
the
there's
next?
another aspect of this, like the video game thing and what the heroes do, particularly militarily, etc., or in politics or in social dynamics. There's a lot of desire to dominate and not be dominated. So I think that's a big factor too. Says, oh, I feel weak and powerless. I'm going to give my power to the hero and be part of that hero worship.
Well, exactly. That's the power by association.
Right.
So if our heroes have clay feet, if the one who is anointed by Jesus to save us is a philanderer and corrupt and all of those things that we know are true, then we're stuck unless we find someone else to save us. And no one has emerged as such a heroic figure that everybody is turning to him or her. I doubt that it would be a her anyway. But anyway, and so who's going to save us? Us. That means we have to give up our hero worship, that we have to look at everybody as flawed, everyone having less than total comprehension of what's going on in the world. And instead of what I see a lot, and I'm going to be honest about this, people who are in opposition to the administration, who have very good points to make, can very often puff themselves up through being angry and make themselves look strong. And in the moment that you make yourself look strong, you feel strong, and then you don't feel so unsafe. Oh, yes, as long as I'm furious all the time, I'm not unsafe. But what does it mean for us to save us? That means we're going to have to unleash our creativity. We're going to have to see ourselves, recognize how weak we are alone, and come together to try to be stronger than we are as individuals. And that's what works. You know, the heroes and heroines of the labor movement were ordinary people just like you and me who went out there and got their heads bashed in. The people who threw the British out of India were not only led by some incredibly powerful and charismatic leaders, but also they went out there and they got their heads smashed in and they fought for nonviolence. And the leaders of the civil rights movement, it's the same. How did these people do it? Because they took it on. They knew they had to. Women, I hate to remind you that the Heritage Foundation has a plan for us, and that plan is that we're going to start having more children, become dependent on men, and stay in the home. They talk about it openly. They talk about it openly. And it started with reproductive rights, and it hasn't stopped. They're going to come after birth control because that gives women choice. We don't want women to have choice. Women are supposed to have no choice. So we're supposed to be dependent on men. And one of these guys, it was giving a speech, and he said, men should excel. Why shouldn't we celebrate that men are excelling? See, because men are supposed to be heroes. Now look at that conditioning, guys. Where is that coming from? That's coming from that little boy who wanted to be Superman or Batman or whoever else he wanted to be.
To save the damsel in distress,
to
the weak
save.
woman.
That's right. And we have to be weak in order to be saved. Oh my God, you would have believed the foul things that he was saying about women, especially powerful women, intelligent women. Well, you see how the president attacks women reporters more than anybody. So that guy grew up with the same paradigm. He wants to be a hero. He wants to be big. He wants to look big, and he's going to get together with the guys and put women back in our place, which is in the home, barefoot and pregnant. And believe me, they're not going to stop because they've been doing a lot to bring it to that point. And if we women want to have a hero in our lives, then we are part of the problem. And how many of us have, in fact, been there? Oh, yeah, I met a guy and he's really nice, but he has no money. Oh, well, I met a guy and, he doesn't have much now, but he's got a lot of potential. He's going to really, I'm looking for a man who's going to save me. He's going to save me economically. He's going to save me from loneliness. He is going to save me from other men who could be violent towards me. He's just going to save me from a lot of things, right? Is he? And then don't we get furious when the guy can't do it? So we, in that sense, we are also part of that problem. There's lots of women who supported the president and who still support him. I notice that we have no comments at all tonight. Would anyone out there who's watching like to put in a comment about how you might do some hero worship yourself or want to be the hero too? And by the way, there's something I haven't said yet while we're waiting for hopefully some comments. When you want to be the hero, what does that mean you have to do to others? You have to make them weak because you can't be the hero if there's somebody else more heroic than you. So that feeds competition. It's like you think back again on the football game. You can't be the guy who wins the football game if there's somebody who gets more points than you. I guess it's points, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that feeds competition with your peers. You want to keep them smaller, or if it's a man, you might want to keep women smaller. Or if you're a woman taking care of the family, you're, the one who's the hero in that family, and the guys should be a drunk because otherwise, how are you going to look like the hero? So trying to be the hero goes hand in hand with putting other people down, making them smaller. And it keeps you from being honest about yourself. Amy says, I definitely often hero worship musicians and actors. Thank you for your honesty, Amy. That is so much a disease in our nation. I mean, the Oscars and the Globes and the whatever these things are, our favorite musician who's like bopping up and down. It's all pretense. You don't even know that he's singing half the time, or she. So that is, I don't think Amy is thinking of those, but but I've done it with classical musicians. Elizabeth says, I have looked for someone to save me most of my life, whether for a romantic relationship or someone to help me out financially. Yes, yes, and yes. Elizabeth says, it's so ingrained. It is. And I hope that I'm shocking you by bringing us into awareness of how we get this cartoon characters. We used to have cartoons, the kind comic books. And I don't know who women have looked to be heroes, but we certainly have been looking for heroes to save us. That makes us wonderful. Charmaine says, replying to Elizabeth, me too, but now I know better and I am trying to be more independent. Right on, Charmaine. And we need to be, Amy said, same as what Elizabeth said. Yes, but it's really not, I understand what you mean by being more independent. It means you don't want to be dependent. But what we believe in is mutual support. None of us can be a hero. I can't even save myself. And I often will fail at being everything that I think I should be. But when we shift our consciousness into oneness, then what happens? Then we can be mutually supportive. I can help you, you can help me. And so we're not mutually dependent, we're mutually supportive. So I would just like to add that to what you're saying, Charmaine, because I totally get, I think I totally get what you're saying. Okay, it's M. Chambers. Some people,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, some people who have a savior complex can sometimes manufacture it. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Hero worship can make us vulnerable to manipulation.
Oh, you left out a word. Manufactured crisis.
Oh, I didn't say that, manufactured crisis.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. This is so important. I'm so glad you said that. That is what our administration has done in Iran. It has manufactured a crisis so that our president can look like a hero, at least in his own mind.
Sure.
And other people do that too in our personal lives. That really goes hand in hand with putting other people down. Charmaine says, learning at the stage of my life, I am now in my 70s. I'm learning to be independent, yes, but also being in more towards my meditation and what divine guidance is showing me. Right on, Charmaine. But also trying to listen to people like you who know more. I don't know. And I'm still learning. Thank you for this exploration and a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Well, James and I are in our 80s and we're still learning every day. And that's what it means to be a hero when you're old, is that you're showing the way that you can keep growing and you don't have to, fall apart totally.
Well, I would like to represent the other side as the man. I was continually looking for the damsel who needed me so that I could be the hero.
You did.
And then I wound up with you. And so then my subconscious reacts every time I'm trying to be the hero, but you wind up coming up with a better solution than me. It even happened today, And I thought, gee, that was a good idea. And meanwhile, my subconscious is going, I didn't get to be the hero. So this happens on very subtle levels too.
Right.
So I wanted to bring that out.
And it can make you want to make me less competent, weaker, and all of that.
Right.
And this is, I believe, so much a part of what drives you, James, is, in fact, that's how I got the topic for today. I was walking around saying, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. I really don't know. And then James was kind of, so we were trying to figure out why. And then he came up with this. And I thought, that's my topic. Can we just be humble and realize that each one of us is limited, and yet each one of us has a gift to give to one another, even if that gift is a smile, a hug, a helpful suggestion, a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, what if you just started something that when you get angry at me, it's usually because you feel belittled, right? And instead of trying to put me down, you're going to say, I need
a hug.
Yeah, I need love.
I need love.
Yeah.
In fact, I did say that to her today, and it
He
really
did.
helped. We hugged each other, and I felt better.
He did. And see,
Felt like a mutual sharing of energy and
that's right.
support. So
See,
it
everybody
helped
who's trying to
eliminate
be
that.
a hero really just needs love.
That's true, because being looked up to and admired is admiration is a form of love.
It's a substitute for love.
Oh, substitute for
It's a
love.
substitute for love. People who feel really loved and secure know that they're okay just as they are. So obviously, our hero complex is leading the United States to completely shoot itself in the foot, become much weaker than we have ever been in my lifetime. And who
Yeah.
knows what all is going to come out of this. But if we can start to turn this around in our own lives, we're going to turn this around in our world. That we are going to start cooperating, being listened to, and learn from others, as Charmaine said, and stop creating manufacturing crises like I have no idea how to pronounce. It's Chambers. uh, and stop creating a need for ourselves. We don't need to create a need for ourselves. As we like to say at the Stream, which is our nonprofit, is like we are meant to exist. We don't have to prove anything because we're just meant to be here. So I have a lot more to say about that, but not tonight. I think we've come to the end of our time. I would love to invite you to come back and next Wednesday as well at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time for whatever we are divinely guided to talk about. As again, Charmaine says, listening to divine guidance and not try to have the ego hijack everything and take advantage of everything and try to puff ourselves up and find a way to live in harmony. And we will, God willing, we will find another way. And that's how we're going to save ourselves, by not saving ourselves, but by saving one another. So thank you so much for coming tomorrow night, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. James and I are going to play music for you. We are the Kindred Spirits Band, and we improvise music. Sometimes James will sing a song, but I mostly improvise. He mostly improvises, and we just create music on the spot that comes through us from the divine, and that connects us to the people who are listening. And we're not going to try to prove anything. We're not trying to manipulate anybody. We're not trying to be famous. We don't want to be heroes. I just want to be there and connect to you, myself, and the universe. And so that's tomorrow night, Thursday at 7 p.m. And remember, again, if you come back, if you come onto our public page, facebook.com, Granny Rocks On, our public Facebook page, you will be able to make comments and we'll be able to see them and read them on the air. Because if you're on my personal page, Beth Green, we never see your comments until after the show. And you can also chat with us on YouTube. We are so grateful for the support that we're getting for this program. And it's growing. We're getting more subscribers all the time. And oh, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook. Give the show a thumbs up or a like or a love, because then the gods at Facebook and YouTube are more likely to let people know about what we're doing. So thank you again so much. And until we see you again, I'm going to play some music and we're going to say goodbye. Thank you.